The core mandate of the Bank of Industry is to provide financial assistance for the establishment, expansion, diversification and modernization of large, medium and small projects, as well as rehabilitation of existing enterprises in the country that may require support. But the key question was how to find and coordinate these businesses and position them for the much-needed help. The Bank of Industry's partnership with state governments is strategic in this regard. This is because every business operates within a particular state. The executive management of the Bank of Industry, led by the MD, Mr. Olukayode Piton, are here to meet with the Governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki.
Right here after the presentation.
The BoI MD states the purpose of their visit.
We're here to thank the Governor because we have been working with Edo State for some years now. We have some matching funds from Edo State, which we have added our own funds to deploy to people in Edo State here who are in small and medium scale enterprises. Part of my coming here is for us to see how we can move this partnership to the higher level, how we can expand the scope of what we are doing in Edo State. We would like to know the areas of emphasis of your administration and how we can partner with the state to help the industrialists in Edo State, to help the market women, to help the people who have small businesses, basically on how we can work as partners with Edo State to move the state forward.
Governor Godwin Obaseki, in his own presentation, shares the various industrial efforts going on in the state, as well as areas where they will need the Bank of Industry to intervene.
As we speak today, there are 4 transactions that have passed incubation, and hopefully in the next 6 months, we should see construction commence in at least 2 of them, shopping malls. And lastly, transportation. We are, you know, because we're a hub again, we are not so concerned about interstate. We are now focusing on intrastate, and also thinking about rail, because all these efforts, these industrial efforts, will have to be complemented. And so we're talking to consultants and trying to raise money to do the studies on our own on how to link what we're doing, all our estates, to the national rail grid. Fortunately, we have a crossing from Warri, the Itape line, the Warri and Itape or Jakarta line crosses Edo State. So you know, one of the ideas we have is to be able to link in some form that network. So we've talked about tourism and the incentives and the initiatives. You know, for us, time is of essence. You know, we try and run government very efficiently and get to do things on a timely basis. We are looking at our land reform because we've now flown over, and we're going to, you know, the city, and we're going to fly over the state. We are going to be automating our land registry and be able to issue CFOs at, you know, reasonable price rates within the next 4 months, because all the data now exists. Ditto building approvals, and you know, for us it's scale. Once we have everybody on board, then we can drastically reduce the charges on these transactions. For us, we cut through and say, let us look at some, you know, realistically, some products that can be dealt with. We've identified the housing chain, for instance. There are some federal government initiatives. So how do we now work further the chain? There's cement, right? We're doing ceramics. We can do glass. You can do some steel, at least even if it's on a limited basis, to support specific housing transactions we can see. The enabler and the key to all of this is electricity, which we have advantage on. Let's look at agriculture and say, okay, take things like cassava. Let's understand the chain. You have people who used to import industrial starch. What's their landing cost? How do we support them? We will do all the things we need to do to support farmers to produce that cassava. Let's look at the financial models. Support those guys, give them money at reasonable rates, let them locate because there's an existing market. We could look at grains in terms of soybeans, maize, in terms of livestock feeds. Okay, what's the cost of imported livestock feeds? What's the cost of local production? What affects those? Then how do we intervene? So let's be because fortunately we are all bankers, we understand financial models. Let's be very clear and specific as to what we want to accomplish and who the guys are. Let's just not throw these policies and initiatives in the air and expect that, once we throw it, then some people will, it will be gathered. No, usually it all disappears, as we've seen through the years. Let's be smarter with the limited resources we have, and that's how we want to engage with the Bank of Industry.
The BoI MD responds.
Trying to support the middle and medium and micro enterprises, we need to have even the major companies, the large corporates, want to support them. Because if you support them, some of them are dying. Many are even dead. Many of these states, you go to industrial estates, you just find derelict buildings and all they have are relics of the good old days. Some of those things must come back. We at Bank of Industry, we are going to work and we are putting on our thinking caps. We know that if we are going to affect this sector, we are not talking of 10 billion naira, 20 billion naira. So we also are putting together a package to raise substantial funding, 500 billion to 1 trillion, for us to actually move forward what government is trying to do. I want to assure you, we work with you. We work with the private investors in the state. All the initiatives, like you have said, they are nice, but it's nice to have people from the state and people who love the state outside the state who want to invest to come in, and then we'll be willing to partner with them. So once again, on behalf of the team and the bank, I say thank you very much.